Sun setting in Seaside, and it's another gorgeous day for Monterey Bay to host a home game. Home game number 2. Last week, thrills and chills. They welcome RGVFC for the first time to Grande Stadium. Mike Watts, Gary Bailey, let's start with last weekend, and what a win it was, what a winner it was.
Absolutely brilliant here from Wilmer Martinez with that left foot. He cuts inside. They give him a little bit of space, Las Vegas Lights, and he punishes them with that super strike.
Frank Yallop gets a little bit of revenge on the side he used to lead as their interim manager, and the fans, well, they don't care. They love that Frank Yallop's side picks up their first win in their first home game in franchise history. All right, let's talk about what lies ahead. Wilmer Martinez, great goal, but we've come to find out, pretty nuanced player.
Yeah, he's got lots of skills and ability. Just 23 years of age, the El Salvador international, so got a great future in front of him. But if you allow him to run at you, if that's what RGV do, they will be in trouble because he has other players alongside him that also have goal-scoring ability. Boone and Valesky and Chris Cortez. So staying close to him and keeping an eye on everybody else, good luck, RGV.
All right, let's talk about that RGV side. They always seem relevant under Wilmer Cabrera. Monterey Bay, they finally get a clean sheet, so that goals conceded number doesn't look so bad right now if you can keep that going.
Well, they need quite a few clean sheets to make up for some of the hammerings they've had, but that's understandable. It's a new franchise. They haven't played at home until the last match. For RGV, they're a good outfit. They've had a few injuries, but they need points to catch up with the others and move into a playoff spot. So a massive match for RGV, as it is for the home side, Monterey Bay.
10 goals all year. 4 of them have come from Frank Lopez for RGV.
Yeah, the Cuban Youth International is quite a player. 2 against Orange County, 1 against New York Red Bulls 2, and 1 against Indy 11. He's quick, he's sharp, he's around the box. He's got a very, very quick footballing brain. Look how he responds there. And if he gets opportunities, guarantee you he'll score.
All right, we're ready to go here at Grande Stadium in Seaside. Monterey Bay, happy to welcome another excellent crowd. And RGV hoping to spoil the party, send the fans home disappointed for the first time. Lineups kickoff when we return.
Coastal Roots Hospitality is a proud partner of the Monterey Bay Football Club. Coastal Roots Events and Catering, along with its 3 iconic restaurants, Montreal, Tarpe's, and Rio Grill, invite you to pick it up and pay it forward, where 10% of all proceeds from takeout orders are donated to various local charities. Their catering service and restaurants utilize local farms, butcheries, and ocean-fresh, sustainability-driven seafood to deliver unique and exemplary dining experiences. For more information, visit coastalrootshospitality.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Grande Stadium in Seaside, Monterey Bay, getting ready to take on RGV. Let's take a look at the lineups. First, for Monterey Bay, Frank Yallop has had to make just one change, but it's a big one. Simon Dawkins out with an ankle injury.
Yeah, Chris Cortez comes in on that left-hand side, so they set up as a 4-4-2, but good attacking possibilities with the 2 up front and the 2 wide in Cortez and Martinez.
And meanwhile for RGV, 4 changes for Wilmer Cabrera. Colin Miller is in goal. Derek didn't make the trip. No, Darcy and Vasquez did neither. And Borzak is available off the bench. Luis Martinez Lopez all start tonight. We are underway in Seaside. And an early free kick conceded some 13 seconds into the match.
It didn't take long to get the first free kick or the first warning from the referee there on Maurice Dona. Hello, welcome to Monterey.
So the foul from Donor opens up a RGV set piece opportunity. They scored 2 set pieces against Colorado Springs last time out. Late in that game to get it close.
Yeah,
chipped away by Boone.
I was going to say, they also had a penalty in that match. They could very well have got something out of Colorado Springs switchbacks, and that's not often you say that about that team because they've been absolutely brilliant this season. But no doubt Monterey Bay would have been doing their homework on set pieces such as this one.
You see Herrera getting his second chance to start. First pro start against Vegas and a clean sheet in the home debut for Monterey Bay. Corner for RGV. No luck this time around. Crawford. Crawford on the run. Crawford has support.
Oh.
Left that behind. Looking for the streaking Wilmer Martinez.
For a player of Robbie Crawford's ability, that was a straightforward pass into space for Wilmer Martinez, and he knocks it behind him, and opportunities lost.
The crowd starting to chant, "Let's go Union." You've been around some clubs that have decades, at this point now, century plus of fan culture. For Monterey Bay, you're talking literally game day 2 for these home fans. So we're going to start to see these traditions grow a little bit this year.
That's wonderful to see, and massive credit to everybody at Monterey Bay and Frank Gallup in particular for, you know, building a team and a squad from scratch. Never easy to do. And in fact, Wilmer Cabrera was going back, when he chatted to us, he went back to his time, what was it, 2016 when they set up RGV, and he was there at the beginning, and he said it's not an easy process and it takes time. And that's why he has huge respect for Frank Gallup and what they're doing at Monterey Bay.
There's Frank Gallup, the 58-year-old first-year manager, previously the head coach in Phoenix and Las Vegas is the interim in this league, which is selling his Grande career drastically short, including in San Jose, twice an MLS Coach of the Year. Spent much of his career as a player at Ipswich. There's an injury, a really concerning non-contact injury for RGV in the middle of midfield.
Just judging by the reaction of the player, it looks like it's going to be a problem, this injury. Just by the way, Frank Gallup, you can add 52 caps for Canada to the list of achievements.
And later was their head coach.
In fact, both these teams have coaches, Wilmer Cabrera and Frank Gallup, with great achievements in MLS and football in general. Which is why it's surprising to see RGV in particular at the wrong end of the table. But they have this ability, you would think, with the players they have, to get their way up the table fairly quickly if they can get a run going.
And this is a real concern for RGV. They're already considering a change here. So that injury came on that initial ball wide. And then the hobbling Daniel Luiz, the Cuban, went to ground, and that is that.
Yeah, just by the way he went down and where they're pressing, you would think it's a strain in the thigh muscle, and it's such a pity for the big man because what are we, 3 minutes into the game when he goes down, he hasn't even had the chance to get involved and show what he can do.
Here's Wilmer Cabrera, the former coach in Houston, made the trip up to Montreal. course, led this RGV franchise through its inaugural seasons before making the move into Houston. He was at Chivas USA as well when that franchise was still alive and well. And you can tell for Luis, frustrating enough, rips those shin guards out. And look, you didn't bring Jesus Vasquez and you didn't bring Frank Nodarce, so you're a little bit thin in the back to begin with, and that's Robert Coronado, who's set to step in, the outside back.
Tough for RGV, and they've already made 4 changes. You went through them just as the match was starting. And as you mentioned, a couple of really important players. Nodarce got one of those goals against Colorado Springs, switchbacks from a corner. He's a big unit, missing Tyler Derrick, of course, in goals. What a good goalkeeper he is. So, tough one for RGV, but the flip side of these is always for Monterey Bay. You're at home, you want to try and get a second win on the trot, you want to try and work your way up the table and get close to the playoff place as well. It's a wounded RGV with lots of replacements. Maybe it's a good opportunity for the home side.
Pressure from Lopez abates. Hold over, that's Donor. 3 years in the Canadian Premier League. Come back to Herrera. Dallas J was the regular starter. Gary, you obviously had so much success in goal, but with the number of goals conceded by Monterey Bay in those first 7 games, after the injury to Rafa Diaz, who's a longtime vet in this league, Frank Yallop said it wasn't anything that Dallas J was doing wrong. It was just a search for a spark in goal.
Yep, 100%. It's such an important position, and players believe in a goalkeeper. You can sign up a new goalkeeper, Carlos Herrera, he makes his debut, you keep a clean sheet, suddenly the defenders and players are going, he's the man, he can do it. We believe in him, and psychologically, coaches do treat goalkeepers a little bit differently to the way they treat outfield players. But not bad for Carlos Herrera. On debut, 1 day after signing a professional contract, he keeps a clean sheet, and they get their first home win, Monterey Bay.
Came out of that really solid semi-pro side, Laredo Heat. It's going to come back to the captain of the group, Hugh Roberts. Lopez pursuing Kai Green in the back. Roberts.
Just looking at the setup of the two teams, Monterey in roughly a 4-4-2, whereas for RGV it's 3 at the back, 4 in the middle, 2 trying to feed Frank Lopez in that lone striker's role. Of course, these shapes change as the match goes on, but that's roughly how they're trying to set up.
It's a heavy push from Ricky Ruiz. Planted there by Emilio Icaza. Aquay will lead the way. Forward, Lopez. Angle really got tight on him. He's already trying to stretch those legs out. Scooped up by Herrera.
Yeah, he's in a good position. It's a lovely ball through from Aquay. Fantastic, good weight on it. He's got there, but he's got to cut inside. His first touch takes him away from goal. He's trying to shield it from the defender, but in the end, the touch was too heavy and it was away from goal, and both of those reduce your angle, so ineffective at the end. But it just shows you Frank Lopez's nose for goal, the right position. The defenders are looking for him every time they get the ball.
That's Juan David Cabezas. And Aquay across. It's going to be the first card of the night. Felt somewhat innocuous. Brent Robinson, former RGV player.
very early as a defender to get a yellow card. You say this so many times, but then you're tiptoeing the rest of the match. It does seem a little bit harsh, unless the referee could definitely see contact down the back of the striker's ankle. But if that's the standard you set as a referee, Michael Radchuk, then you have to keep that going throughout the match.
He's had quite the week. Gave out a number of yellow cards in the Seattle-San Jose Open Cup game in Tukwila, Washington. Shootout that went 11 rounds and ended with the goalkeepers on Wednesday night. That's a lot of tread on those tires for what it's worth. Somehow kept in play. Lopez gave it an effort, got away from Ruiz.
It was very well kept in play, by the way. That looked like it was going out, and not only did he get the cross, he gets it right into the danger area.
Pressure from Monterey Bay starts to really close in.
You get the sense with Chris Cortez and Valesky, there's some big units there. If they can get balls wide, if they can get set pieces and get those big guys into the box, they're going to cause RGV a few problems.
Robinson finding the calm in the middle for Monterey Bay. Kai Green, really intriguing case, because at Seton Hall he was a forward, then he was a midfielder, then he was a defender. He shows up as a professional for RGV as an outside back, and now he's playing in the center alongside Hugh Roberts for Monterey Bay.
Mr. Versatile. This is an important game for Monterey Bay, not just in terms of points, but confidence as well. 6 straight losses coming into their last match against Las Vegas. Some of those, they took a thumping, especially against San Antonio.
Milosevic got tied up with Chris Cortez.
Sorry, it was 5 straight losses before the Las Vegas match, not 6. I'm doing them down. But either way, you're coming in with a ton of goals conceded into your first home match. What a win it was for Frank Gallup and company. But you want to build on that with a second one. And then suddenly the players might start to really believe they can make the playoffs this year. We saw it with Oakland Roots last year after a very slow start for a new side, or a side coming up from NISA. But once they got going, once they got that self-belief, they managed to make the playoffs, but they were there.
Down by Miller. Snuck through, and it's Ricketts on the run with a push from behind. Lopez and Ruiz not on the same page there.
Just proof that Monterey Bay are beginning to get some momentum going. And Frank Gallup will be delighted about it, is that week 9 USL Team of the Week, Wilmer Martinez made that, courtesy of that wonderful strike of his against Las Vegas. And even on week 3, Chase Boone and Hugh Roberts managed to make the team and the bench. So there have been some positives for Frank Gallup's side. More trouble here for RGV. Wilmer Cabrera is looking at it going, not another injury. Already had to make a whole ton of changes.
We spoke with Wilmer this week, and he's not an excuse maker. You go through his time in MLS, and a lot of things didn't break his way. He did build this RGV side from the ground up, but 3 foreign signings that they've been excited about, paperwork hasn't come through. The injuries, Derek Pimentel in the back, and Jose Francisco Torres, former U.S. international. Milosevic is up and moving, thankfully. Now you see 4 minutes in, Daniel Luis, the 6'5" back from Cuba, it feels like they haven't been able to put remotely close to the lineup that they thought they were going to start the season with for any extended period of time.
Yeah, it's always tough when that happens, but you'll probably find there's a few other managers around the league who have similar situations. It is the nature of the game, and it's going to be a long season with many players in and out, which is why you need a decent-sized squad and a squad that can rotate and is happy rotating.
Spun outside. Good start for RGV through a quarter hour. Ruiz floating. Robinson will watch that out.
Quite sure what Ruiz was trying to do there, whether he mishit that or whether he thought there was somebody coming in at the far post. Either way, he didn't find anyone from his own team, and he had time to pick somebody out.
Martinez goes down. It's a stadium that holds about 6,000. They had well over 5,000 a week ago. It was a pretty dreary weather occasion.
Nothing dreary about the result, just saying.
No. The fans who came, worth the wait.
By the way, it could have been a lot more than just the 1-0. They had a ton of chances in that match.
Crawford in reverse. Lopez lost his footing. That'll draw a few cheers from the crowd.
Just talking to Frank Yallop, he was so impressed with the crowd at that last match, as you say, packed house. He said, you know, the performance was good and we're trying to do the right thing. We're trying to play in the right way. Make sure these fans come back time and time again.
Lays through. Cortez on the run. That ball across. Still danger here for Monterey Bay. Pushed away from Chase Boone. Sun brightly in the eyes of the opposing goalkeeper. Worthy of note, those long shadows mean intense sunlight until the sun goes down in about 45 or 50 minutes time, which is just in time for the goalkeepers to switch sides. Good little effort through. Cortez floating up and away. Corner, Monterey Bay.
Right idea by Chris Cortez there, just trying to get a little bit of height on the ball to get it over the initial defenders and let it drop in the middle of the box. Comes so close. He was close before from the right-hand side. This time it's the left-hand side. Lovely little ball through there from Valesky. And he's trying to get it up and over and find Wilmer Martinez. Now they've got enough big units in that box, Monterey.
Service punched away. That was Miller. Boone through. And the goalkeeper makes himself as big as he can and dives out. Colin Miller, the 6'3", 25-year-old from Maryland. And another good moment there, that time Arun Basulovic.
It's a lovely 1-2, isn't it, from Basulovic there, gets it back. Could he have stretched and just tried to chip it over the goalkeeper? Maybe not. Let's give Colin Miller the credit there for coming out nice and quickly and bravely.
Another set piece here from Monterey Bay, and it's in! They've opened the scoring in the 19th minute of play. Hugh Roberts. Home sweet home for Monterey Bay.
And the crowd love it. Frank Yallop and the coaching staff love it. Hugh Roberts loves it. Fantastic header. And we were just saying they have the big units. Set pieces are going to be vital. That's how it's turned out already. And they knew this was coming, RGV, but it's very difficult to defend against because you're busy watching Chris Cortez and you're busy watching Valesky, and then up pops Hugh Roberts. And there's good movement in the box as well. And there is marking on Hugh Roberts, but he's big and strong and brave. And gets that in the corner past Colin Miller. And they're 1-0 up at home. And the fairy story continues to grow for Monterey Bay.
And what a moment for the captain, who at the Winter Summit in St. Petersburg this year was still out of contract and waiting to see what would come. He was still very much involved leading the USL Black Player Alliance. He had left Charlotte, club that self-relegated down to USL League One over the offseason, looking for that next stop. And believe it or not, whether it was related or not, Hugh Roberts came on USL All Access on Sirius about 20 minutes before Frank Yallop did, and you sort of wonder if they met in the lobby.
You should be an agent, charge 10%.
Hugh's such an interesting human being to talk to. And you can tell, well, when every player's number eventually is called, he decides to hang up the boots. He could do a number of things that'll make an impact on the media side or beyond.
He scored the winner against Oakland when they won 3-2. So he has scored some crucial goals, but given that 2 matches ago they got beat 6-0 by San Antonio, the turnaround for Monterey, if they can win this one, will be massive. Confidence-wise, as I was suggesting, and belief in the squad, belief in the manager and what he can do. Because no one likes to get beat 6-0, and yes, San Antonio, fantastic side, but even the hardest of pros start to question themselves and their teammates when you get hammered 6.
Flick on toward Lopez, and that foul stops play. You got the feeling Monterey felt it was a little bit needle-like in midfield last time around, defensively too narrow.
Yeah,
trying to fix that.
Yeah, that's how they want to play. That's how Frank Yallop says he does play. His team keeps them narrow, forces opposition wide. The danger is if you force Monterey Bay wide, they get crosses in, like they're doing now, to the big guys, and you're in trouble.
Scooped up, a little bit of contact, not enough to see it the other way.
I guess you have seen, Mike, many a team start from scratch, and they watch them build over the years, and you do get the sense that Monterey Bay, with Frank Yallop in charge, can really build something special. And if they can make this a fortress, this is only their 2nd match in Cardinale Stadium. If they can make it a fortress, then who knows what they can achieve.
The thing about some of the teams that have come in and made a major impact with their home quality, as Ruiz takes a knock. But Chuck Chansey Park, Fresno FC, which Frank Yallop led that first year, not much of a fortress. The second year, it was a bandbox under Adam Smith. And Frank Yallop was leading the technical side from the front office as the general manager. But New Mexico at the Lab that first year, going all the way to the Open Cup quarterfinal. Ruiz, header snapped down, and Herrera, simple enough, lines down to the post.
It's a decent enough header. The worry for Monterey Bay is how easy it was to get the header in. But they get away with it. Perhaps a little warning to get a little bit tighter, touch tight. It's one thing opposition getting their header, but you want to be leaning into them, making it difficult for them to get a clean header.
Donor. Ushered further by Martinez. Donor toward the corner flag. Free kick, Monterey Bay. This will act a bit like a corner from this distance.
He's saying he got the ball, but he got the player before the ball. I think that's what the referee has decided for one David Cabezas. You cannot go through a player to get to the ball. Let's have a look and see if that's how it happened. Just shielding the ball there. Yeah, his body's shielding the ball is Donor, and it forces one David Cabeza to go through Donor, and hence the free kick.
service is caught by Miller. To lean over some players to get that.
Not quite sure if he went to catch that or he went to punch it and then it landed up in his hands. Either way, he gets it, and that's all that's important. But there'll be plenty more of those high balls coming in on Colin Miller. It's going to be a busy afternoon for the goalkeeper in terms of aerial balls.
Coronado. Celebrating its 75th anniversary, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. Choose what you play with at selectsportamerica.com. Select, league's choice, player's choice.
Oh, taking a little bit of a risk there, Carlos Herrera. We just had Frank Lopez only a yard or two away. Now they're in trouble.
And it's ushered by, this time, Green.
I think you can see Donor just saying to Carlos Herrera, get the ball out of that danger area. Don't take risks. It's the last thing you want when you've worked so hard to turn around your season, your losing streak. To go and give away a silly goal. They're going to tighten up at that back there, Monterey Bay. This isn't about looking good. This is about getting results.
Got by Jonathan Ricketts.
Martinez was just closing him down very quickly, and he took his eye off the ball. But got to give credit to Monterey Bay. When we spoke to Frank Gallup, he said, you know, the 6-0 thrashing by San Antonio was tough. He said, but we were missing our centre-backs. They're a very, very good side, which we know. He said, but what we did after that was we just forgot about the result. He said, we're done. He said to all the players, just don't even think about it. It's not relevant now. It's over and done with. We move on. He said, and that was important in terms of keeping their chins up.
And look, you don't blame Monterey Bay. The number of road games they had at the outset. Lips a little moist at the idea of finally getting back on your home ground, because we've seen teams come into this league. Hartford comes to mind, where it's all gone horribly wrong before you ever get on the field. That's kept alive by Lopez and stabbed away and back toward the corner. And pierced into the stands. But that win against Oakland started the turnaround, and then you get home. You get ahead early here in game number 2 at home. And listen to the support.
It is fantastic. But I mean, you know, to be fair to Monterey, they had Phoenix Rising away first match. Well,
right.
They did score 2, but good luck. They had Colorado Springs Switchbacks away second match. Only lost 1-0. Then they beat Oakland Roots. Then they had Sacramento Republic away. Another tough one. They had El Paso away. They got hammered 5 there. They had Los Dos away, who've been pretty good at home, as we saw by their victory over Lou City. And they had San Antonio away. So their away matches have been against some of the top sides in the Western Conference. And the only team down near them, Oakland Roots, they beat them away. So maybe things aren't as bad as would seem from the outside. And certainly if they get a second victory at home, then their fans can surely start talking about the possibility of getting a playoff place.
Bouncing ball ahead. Donor took a whack. It was Ricketts the foul.
Nice little bending ball put in there. But he's quick, Donor, and he just got ahead of Ricketts. And as soon as you feel contact in that situation as a defender, you're going to go down. Big day for Carlos Herrera. 1 game, 1 clean sheet. Can't get much better than that. Can he make it 2 clean sheets in 2?
Statistically, in theory, it'll never get better than this.
So what are you saying? He must retire after 1 match?
Saying. Saying, ride this wave as long as you possibly can. That's a tough tackle. That's going to draw a yellow card. Leg kicks out. Walmer Martinez is going to go into the book.
It's 2 players now. He's trying to explain that he didn't feel it was worthy of a yellow. My only concern for players who get booked early on in a match is, as we watch this again, well, he's missed the ball and he's kicked the players. I don't think he's got too much to complain about. Just wondering whether football intelligence-wise you don't go for that ball if you're not sure you're going to get it, because now Martinez, if he just mistimes another tackle, he could be off the pitch, and that could turn the game completely. So I assume he's a good enough player that he'll now watch every single tackle he makes a lot more carefully.
Ruiz, better back in front. Roberts. Akwe. You would think a card comes for this too.
I don't know if he gets to the ball first, because that's the other thing. If he doesn't get to the ball first, yes, but doesn't seem to be arguing Robbie Crawford. So again, these days, just putting your foot up, coming into tackles late, more and more you see players not even tackling, just let the opposition get there first and then try and close them down and just take it off their toes, because, and certainly sliding tackles are almost outlawed now. You can't take the rest. Let's have a look. Does he get there first? He actually does get there first, but his boot is up, his studs are up, and I guess the interpretation is such that it's a dangerous tackle. As I say, these days, just don't tackle. Just unless it's clearly your ball, just stay out of it, because now there's 3 players who have to be careful of what they do next.
Martinez, Robinson, and Crawford are on yellow cards now for Monterey Bay. It's still a clean bill of health for RGV from that perspective, though they've already seen a player injured, having to leave the game in the first 10 minutes. What do you fancy here?
You would think a curling ball in for the strikers. I don't think you're going to get past the goalkeeper from that angle, but let's wait and see. Well, if you're going to beat the goalkeeper, step number 1 is hit the target. Just saying. Never easy, though. I mean, it's easy to sit here and have a giggle, but, you know, to get it over a wall and around and on target is, you're not going to get every single one on, but I always feel that you've got to at least make the goalkeeper work. I'm not expecting you to put it in the top corner, but, you know, bounce it in front of the keeper, make him at least have to do something, as opposed to watch it sail 10 yards over the bar.
Well, for a win, if Monterey Bay does hold on within the Western Conference standing, it could be a statement of misery loves company. There could be 3 teams level on 9 points if Monterey Bay's lead holds, and Oakland right now level 1-1 in their match late tonight. That's ongoing. It is a malodorous basement right now.
It's a difficult basement to get out of as well, Mike, because if you look at Monterey's next matches, the next one is they're away at Lou City. Yeah. So good luck with that. They're at home to Colorado Springs Switchbacks, and good luck with that one. Then Oakland Roots is a 6-pointer, and then they host San Antonio. So it's such a tough conference, this Western Conference, that they're going to have to go on a really good run just to have a chance of making the playoffs.
Well, and you could argue that getting Louisville away, as far as the non-conference games that you're given, ball in front, ripped off target. It just continues for Monterey Bay. They look very much at home right now. That was Valesky.
It's similar to the last match. They had chances then, they're getting chances now. They look a really good outfit on days like this, and the ball just dropped. Again, the long ball into the box is where they're going to get joy because of their big guys, you would think. Valesky just unable to bend that around into the corner. Colin Miller quite comfortable seeing it past the post. Gets a few comments from the fans behind him, which I'm sure he's used to.
led by Akwe.
The sense of being at home is so important for any team. I mean, up until the Las Vegas match, all 8 games have been away from home, on the road, traveling, hotels. Nothing the same. It's always different every stadium you go to. Now, for the first time ever, even their home game, to be fair, is like an away game. They hadn't played there before, so it's all new. Now, for the first time, it's a repeat performance.
Service whipped across dangerously and headed away.
And as they get to understand this pitch, as Wilmer Martinez gets up, as they get to understand the pitch and get to enjoy the fans and the sense of familiarity that players love about their home ground, so they can grow in strength here at Cardinale Stadium.
Lopez able to get Donor off the ball. Lopez, there's Roberts. Vital intervention there.
Frankie Lopez again, always a danger. I think with the victory over Las Vegas, it could very easily have been 2 or 3-0. Their fans will probably say they deserved to, and they had a lot of chances and some good saves by the Vegas keeper. And in the end, you're holding on. They were holding on for the 1-0. Well, you don't want to be in the same situation here with Frankie Lopez around. You want to try and get the second. I know I'm stating the obvious. Every team wants to get a second, but against RGV, that's more important than ever.
Ricketts. Ricketts. Torres. Cortez. Dynamic ball. Diagonally over the top. Martinez collects.
A few of those balls for Monterey Bay out wide, they've been whipped in and just haven't been able to find another white shirt in the middle. The idea is good. Execution not always spot on. I'm not saying it's easy to do, but
Ruiz, too far.
Yeah, again, I guess you could say the same for RGV. Those are opportunities where you've got to try and put it in areas where you do have teammates.
Cortez muscled off by Martinez. Donor. Now Walmer Martinez. Donor pushing ahead. Goalkeeper started out, knows better now. Miller reverts. And it's hard to put your finger on that little bit of quality, right? It's almost impossible to explain. I'm sure if every coach could bottle it and sell it, they would. Or they'd save it all for themselves.
It's what makes good players worth so much money, the ability to lift your head and cross it left or right foot to exactly where you want it to go. Not easy to do, and those who play the game will know how difficult it is. But that's what you're looking for as a coach. Those little moments of magic. And for example, you give Frank Lopez a chance in the box. He has that ability to hit targets. And that's why he's such a crucial player to RGV.
There goes Lopez. Herrera.
So far, so good. He's had just short of 130 minutes in goals, Carlos Herrera, and has yet to concede.
It's the dream, isn't it?
Absolutely. As a goalkeeper, that means you're doing your job, and those around you are doing their job in terms of defending.
And I spoke with John Harkes. He said Frank Yalt called about Dallas J, and he could not have been more complimentary of what Dallas had done in Greenville over the years. Rafa Diaz, I've had a goalkeeping coach tell me he thought he was the best goalkeeper in the championship at one point in time. So Frank Yalt sort of got an embarrassment of riches in theory. Diaz gets hurt. You need another goalkeeper in, and they sign Herrera on what they've publicly called a 25-day contract. And assuming he can hold another couple clean sheets or be competitive here in goal, Diaz comes back or not, you'd think there's a longer deal in store, maybe see out the year, and Monterey or impress someone else in the league.
Well, 25 days could become 25 months, and you've got yourself a 2-year deal. As I say, with goalkeepers, the psychology, the belief in your keeper is so important. I've seen it many times where keepers make a couple of bad errors and the defender's just not happy playing with them. They just don't believe the keeper will do the job he has to do or she has to do.
He's going to sit up nicely. First effort was blocked. Second effort is off the post, and now it's in. It got by Herrera. It took a bit of magic to break through, and Emilio Icaza has certainly found it. 42nd minute, 1-1.
That's a fantastic strike from Icaza, and the goalkeeper gets a hand to it. I thought he had saved it, Herrera. He got it onto the post, and it just dribbles over the line. But Icaza, with time on his hand, he could pick his spot. Have a look here. A little bit too much time on the edge of the box. Lopez again causing trouble, dragging in defenders with him. And have a look. As this ball comes, he's got time. He picks his spot. Goalkeeper does brilliantly to get it onto the post. And then watches as it agonizingly crawls over the line into the back of the net. Inches away. We were talking a little bit earlier about the ability of RGV, and they do have that quality in attack. Perhaps a little lucky bounce of the ball on the edge of the box as well.
It's not the way Icaza seemed to think about it as he pulled the arrow and bow out.
Oh, he picked his spot, all right, side foot. Carlos Herrera eventually concedes, but he came ever so close to making a top-class save.
Juan Pablo Torres back up.
A few words going back and forth, as per normal, between the players.
And an injured player down for Monterey Bay. That's Basulovic. You know, Gare, I thought one thing that really stood out to me with Wilmer Cabrera, sort of said, look, this is a good team and the results aren't coming. And trying to get an idea of what his frustration was from that fact, because that goal's a pretty solid reminder. Icaza's not the only one. There's a lot of guys here who, whether they've done it at this level or a number of guys from League One, he finds great players in maybe lesser known places or different tracks of life, and it just hadn't all come together yet.
His players have got quality, there's no question about that, and given the chances, they will score goals. He did say to us that for him, every game is a final, and I know we hear that from coaches often. I think he says that he really feels that now because they're beginning to slip away from those playoff spots as we see Basulovic coming off. He says they're beginning to slip away from the playoff spots, and he's treating every game like a final now as they battle. And he said in particular at home, that's his concern. He has the quality players, as you say, but he needs them to perform at home.
Change here for Monterey. There was applause there from Basulovic toward the crowd. And with less than a minute here potentially remaining in the first half, they're going to use a sub window, bring James Murphy, the former RGV player. He played 36 games for the Toros, in. Ball launched over the top. That header skips away. Roberts trying to keep it alive. And now blasted out by Torres. Well, Lopez to run under it.
He's been quiet, Chase Boone, just watching him play the ball in there. We haven't mentioned his name too much. And he's the top goal scorer for Monterey Bay, so you might see him become more influential in the second half.
RGV pushing ahead, it got by, and now lifted over the goalkeeper and in. It's a brilliant finish for RGV, and they've come from behind to go ahead.
I think it's Coronado who got that goal, and another little lucky bounce, but he was quick to respond to it, and what a finish, just chips it over the keeper. Brilliant awareness, little Lionel Messi-esque, the way he gets the height over the keeper, and nothing Carlos Herrera could do. And suddenly from 1-0 up, they are 2-1 down, Monterey Bay, in the space of 4 or 5 minutes. And let's have a look at this again. You'll see a lucky bounce here that goes RGV's way just there. And Coronado plays the 1-2. Comes back and no one goes with him. Nobody tracks the 1-2. Coronado goes there, and you can see Murphy, who's just come on. It was probably his player to track, and if not him, Wilmer Martinez. Neither do the job of defending, and the centre-back just goes straight through and brilliantly chips the goalkeeper.
That's a long way forward for a defender, and Coronado didn't look out of place at all. He scored 1 goal in his first stint at RGV, nothing in Oklahoma City, and now he scores his first of the year. His 42nd game for the Toros, and his 2nd goal for the club.
And you were just talking about the ability of the RGV players, the quality they have in so many different positions. Well, there's an example of a centre-back who's can chip the way any striker would love to chip a goalkeeper.
And all the while, Lopez struggled to get up. Nice moment between Omar Cabrera and Robert Coronado. And Lopez really hobbling off with the athletic trainer here.
Well, that doesn't look good at all.
No. Well, that's your striker. You're about a minute and probably closer to 2 minutes to the end of the first half. Can't see a second sub window being used here, so one wonders. Meanwhile, Dallas J is preparing to come in here with a minute remaining. This is really fascinating. So Dallas J replaces Carlos Herrera in goal.
I didn't see Herrera get injured when that goal was scored. I can only think that's the reason why he's off. Because he wasn't to blame for either goal, so you wouldn't substitute him for any tactical reason, I wouldn't have thought.
And even if you would, I don't know why you put in a goalkeeper cold off the bench a minute before halftime, when you can warm him up. In theory, Lopez is waving his arms. He wants to come back. Well, this has been a really odd first half substitution-wise.
It's been a terrible last 7 or 8 minutes for Monterey Bay. They seemed so good at 1-0. They were creating opportunities at the other end. High balls are floating in and causing RGV problems, and then bang, bang, 2 quick goals. Substitute the goalkeeper, and I think Frank Yellop's going to have an interesting halftime chat ahead.
Well, for Dallas J, raised in Northern California, spoke when he signed about how deserving Monterey was getting a club. Native of Danville, California, and this is his home debut for a hometown club. It's lobbed all the way to the end line. RGV had to play it. Martinez.
I guess this is a reminder for Monterey, just the quality of the USL, especially in the Western Conference. I mean, there's so many good teams. RGV is sitting near the bottom, And look at the quality they have in their side.
Yellow card will come out for the tackle. Crawford is good a dead ball specialist as this league can provide.
Nice little interplay here, some tugging going on in that tackle there. Doesn't even get close to the ball by Ikaza on Chase Boone.
We are in the 6th minute of first half stoppage time. Crawford, referee still has the whistle in his mouth. Question is how long he's going to go. He's brought it down. He'll consider this a little bit longer. Kept by Monterey Bay. The turn, there's width out here. Donor. Appears the referee is inclined to let this full action play out. Martinez, Akwe. Sprinting down the line, kept in. Now RGV can run. This isn't the second half. This is a late first half stoppage. Lopez. Bothered by Green. And that is halftime. 40 minutes into this game, if you're Monterey Bay, everything feels about right. And then Coronado happens. He's not the only one. Wilmer Cabrera's side fight back to take a halftime lead.
Yeah, just a reminder, as I said, of how tough the league is. But a good point now is to see how Monterey Bay respond. Are they going to be resilient? Are they going to come out second half and be able to battle and fight? That's the task ahead for Frank Gallup. And he'll be thinking it through. But good goal by Coronado for a defender to come up and finish the way he did. Top quality.
All right, we've got plenty coming up here at halftime. Look around the league and so much more. Integris Wealth Management presents the halftime show, and it's coming up after the break. 3 excellent goals. It's RGV with the advantage at the half. fans already have all the gear. Tonight's halftime is presented by Integris Wealth Management. RGV2, Monterey Bay 1. They've got the logo, and Gary, is it crisp blue and kelp blue? Do you have a preference for one or the other?
I think that's their nickname, isn't it? Crisp and kelp.
Yeah.
I think you have to be a seasider to know the difference in those colors, but I'm happy to go with it. Crisp and kelp it is.
I love it. Well, let's talk a little bit about this stadium here. Cardinelli Stadium opening this year. Of course, it's in the $11 million renovation on the campus of Cal State Monterey Bay. So this is previously the site of Freeman Stadium, renovated with private funds. It started back in September of 2021. So this is really quick work. Frank Yallop said when they built the stadium down in Phoenix, it was from tumbleweeds to rump and tumble in 40 days. This doesn't miss the mark by much. A lot of steel. They're able to put the stands up here. Brand new scoreboard. FIFA level turf as well. And that means whether it be for CSMB or for, of course, Monterey Bay Football Club, a lot of different ways in which this stadium can find some really great public use.
Absolutely, and right now they're having some fun with the kids on the turf. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to build the following. They're going to build the interest from families and youngsters and build a youth system, all those good things. And I wish them luck. It's wonderful to see investment in soccer, and especially quality investment, which is what is happening right there in Monterey Bay.
Let's talk what's coming up for Monterey Bay. If you followed the league for a long time, you would consider this murderer's row, because LA just beat Phoenix and Louisville at their place. San Antonio is running at the top of the West. Colorado Springs has played like a bat out of hell here at the outset at Louisville, who've won the title twice. Nothing simple about this, but those home games, those are worth coming to.
They're worth coming to, but I guess from a Monterey Bay point of view, you look where you're going to pick up points there, perhaps Oakland Roots, but at Los Dos is going to be tricky, and the others, as you say, are all very, very difficult matches, which is probably why expecting Monterey Bay to make the playoffs is a stretch. They just need to settle in and get going and have a decent first season.
And meanwhile, this is live pictures from the field. Dallas J came in the final minute in relief of Carlos Herrera. He's going through what would typically be pregame routine here at halftime. 2-1 RGV over Monterey Bay. Halftime continues after these messages.
Goes topics. I mean, yeah, let's talk about today we're gonna go topics.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?
And it's all turning up goals. The audacity. Early fireworks at Wild Horse Pass. Welcome to Tampa Bay. And he drills it. Wow. What a goal. We welcome you back to tonight's halftime, presented by Integris Wealth Management. Rio Grande Valley, a 2-1 lead over Monterey Bay. Mike Watts and Gary Bailey. Let's take you through some news and notes from around the USL Championship and beyond. The W League launching its inaugural season last Friday, and now a full slate of games for the first time for what equates to USL League 2 on the men's side. The Super League starts next year. Meanwhile, Gary, okay, Sacramento hosting San Jose, Louisville hosting Nashville. Do you have a team you think is more likely to get the upset in the Open Cup?
I think Lou City at Lynn Family Stadium against Nashville. I'm plumping for Lou City there. The way they're playing at the moment is just out of this world, and I don't think Nashville are going to enjoy going to Lynn Family Stadium. Just saying.
No, I doubt it. Jordan Farr, 4 clean sheets in 5 games. Here's a look at the scoreboard from games that are final, or in the case of Vegas and Oakland at halftime. Colorado Springs, San Diego was a big highlight game. Didn't happen, COVID issues. Memphis over Indy, that's a huge win for them. San Antonio over Miami. A lot of people look forward to that one.
Well, San Antonio just absolutely stunning at the moment. That's not an easy place to go to, Miami. And to get that sort of win, I think they've won 8 and lost 1 or something. It's an incredible run that San Antonio have had. Pittsburgh keep winning as per normal. And, well, Las Vegas Lights have had a good start, but Open Roots are giving them a run for their money. By the way, Charleston Batchy, not the same Charleston Batchy of the last couple of years. They made the playoffs every, what was it, 13, 14 years? Give me the exact stat.
Every year of the modern era until last year in the championship. Yeah.
Now they're really struggling.
Let's tell you what's coming up on ESPN Network. So Phoenix and Tampa Bay, that game's been moved back and the network has changed. Thanks a lot, Calgary. 7 Pacific time, Phoenix and Tampa Bay. Then back to ESPN Deportes. You'll hear Jesus Acosta and Jose Rodriguez on the call for those. Monterey Bay, San Antonio should be a fun one.
Again, a big test for Monterey Bay. They're coming up against a lot of quality sides, as we're seeing today. And San Antonio, as we mentioned, with their run, that's a massive test at home. But they're at home. They've got to make it a fortress, Monterey Bay, as quick as possible.
All right, we've got plenty more coming up here from Cardinelli Stadium. The Integris Wealth Management halftime report. RGV leads 2-1.
Coastal Roots Hospitality is a proud partner of the Monterey Bay Football Club. Coastal Roots Events and Catering, along with its 3 iconic restaurants, Monterey, Tarpe's, and Rio Grill, invite you to pick it up and pay it forward, where 10% of all proceeds from takeout orders are donated to various local charities. Their catering service and restaurants utilize local farms, butcheries, and ocean fresh sustainability-driven seafood to deliver unique and exemplary dining experiences. For more information, visit coastalrootshospitality.com.
Welcome back to Seaside. 2-1 RGV. Let's take a look at first half highlights between Monterey Bay and Rio Grande Valley. We're going to start in the 19th minute of play. It's Hugh Roberts, the captain, opening the scoring here tonight.
That's a fantastic header. He's under all sorts of pressure. He's got defenders' arms all over him, and he still not only wins the header, but tucks it into the corner.
A couple of injuries along the way, which we'll remind you of, but Emilio Icaza would find the equalizer for RGV.
Yeah, gets a little bit of a good bounce of the ball there with that tackle, Robbie Crawford, and so close to an unbelievable save there by Herrera, but just crawls over the line.
And then in the first minute stoppage time, so it's Robert Coronado who finishes this off, dummy through by Lopez. Watch above the goalkeeper's head. He immediately signals that's the universal sign for substitute. It's a really well-taken goal, but that's going to cost Monterey Bay in a number of ways.
I'm just wondering how he got injured. Maybe it was a groin as he stretched to try and make that save, but Coronado, lovely little 1-2.
And so here is Dallas J. We showed him at halftime going through those pregame warm-ups a little bit. Gary, what's it like as a goalkeeper? You're told all week the other guy's going to start, and now you're being thrown right into the fire.
You got to take your chance, that's all there is. And, you know, if you've been sat on the bench, you're delighted to be playing. You're not happy that somebody else has got injured in the process, but when your chance comes, you want at least to have the chance, and he must now make some saves and show the manager that he needs to start next match.
Kudos to Zach on Twitter. Initially, we didn't see that signal from the goalkeeper, and indeed did immediately call for the sub. He grimaced a little bit after the first goal where he really laid out for the ball, but it didn't look like it was anything significant enough to keep him out, but something clearly bothering Carlos Herrera. And the goalkeeping situation murkier than ever for Monterey Bay because Rafael Diaz is still dealing with that injury.
This is the resilience they need now, Monterey Bay. Yes, your keeper's changed. Defenders don't normally like that. It bothers them. And they're 2-1 down from looking very comfortable at 1-0. But they just have to be strong. They have to believe in themselves, their manager, the system they're playing. And they've got to keep going. Las Vegas are a good side. They managed to beat them. That's what I'm sure Frank Yellett would have been telling them at halftime.
You like Isidro Martinez wiping the ref edge off the field and wiping it off on his sock to get an extra couple inches? Will it be Ruiz? It is. Gonna drop down to Coronado.
Problem you have with RGV is they're a very good footballing side, and 2-1 up and a little bit of confidence running through their veins, and they can start to knock that ball around. Again, you've got the physical possibilities of Monterey Bay with the big boys up front. They're going to have to maybe look to knock high balls and fight and rough things up a little bit, because it's such a skillful RGV side that when they start playing football, it's a tough one.
Lopez really stretching to try and keep that, and here's Chris Cortez winding this long. It's a simple collection for RGV. How simple was it really? Miller
just plays it safe and knocks it out there.
Colin Miller, the pride of Providence College up in Rhode Island. Big East goalkeeper of the year there. Making the move through Detroit and Loudon.
So I was going to say, I remember his performance against Phoenix Rising in the playoffs last season.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning in that match where they went through on penalties after a 3-3 draw.
Tyler Derrick went down with a season-ending injury. He played 28 games last year. He was the guy. Whoa, nice catch in the stands.
Yeah, sign him up.
Alas, not supposed to throw that back on the field. It's game two. It's not quite the soft launch of the stadium, but
they haven't quite got the same crowd they had in that opening match against Las Vegas Lights, and they probably need support. So if you're watching from Monterey Bay, get on down and try and help them through this first season.
We've seen some expansion teams come in, and FC Cincinnati is a big one. Nashville, both making their way to MLS in the long run, but Sacramento was hosting sellout 11,000 seat crowds. In Northern California, Phoenix, once they rebranded and got their own venue. Cardinelli Stadium is the 6th USL Championship venue built since 2019. There's a lot of reasons to come out and support.
That's phenomenal growth of soccer in the USA, and its quality as well. It's not just numbers, some really good football being seen at all levels.
Lopez just got blasted off the ball, and a free kick just off the chalk or paint.
He must be made of rubber, Frank Lopez, because the way he was walking when he got hit, I'm thinking that could be his day done. Not only is he back on the pitch, he's still taking knocks, he's still getting up, and now he wants to take the free kick as well.
He's not the biggest guy. One coach referred to him as a very strong bulldog.
But he's got that spirit, though.
He does.
He gets stuck in. He doesn't flinch when he comes up against the big guys.
Comes from Cienfuegos in Cuba. Frank Lopez defected during Olympic qualifying in 2015. And this his 5th club since in the U.S. Lopez went for goal. You wouldn't doubt it.
It wasn't far off. That's a really decent effort from Lopez. He was lining up. I mean, he gave us the impression he was going to take the free kick and aim. He wasn't going to cross it into the box. And, kept Alice J on his toes. And by the way, the expected goals in the first half was 0.55 for Monterey Bay, and for RGV, 0.55. So the fact that RGV got 2 goals out of it and Monterey Bay just the 1 shows you how good their finishing was.
Brought in by Ikaza. Crawford. Support in the width from Donor, grabbed by Miller. By the way, Ikaza in the first half didn't feel the need for gloves, but at 57 degrees, apparently this is the threshold for him.
Just looking back at that last chance for Monterey Bay, they had 2 big boys in the box and the ball doesn't come in, comes in near post, easy for RGV to deal with. You're going to play to your strengths, and you've got Valesky running in and Chris Cortez following him. It's got to come in the air, surely.
Back to Jay. When RGV lost their best aerial target and defender in that first half, the 6'5" Daniel Luiz is a magnet for those balls.
Good luck marking someone who's 6'5". I mean, that is some height. And he was talking him up, Wilmer Cabrera, when we spoke to him a few games back about Daniel Ruiz, and said he was such a quality player on the ball as well as having the height.
It's a big loss in a number of ways, especially for a side that managed 2 set-piece goals last time out against Colorado Springs. Although Colorado Springs will be the first to put their hand up and say that's not exactly what fans show up at Widener Field to see.
Well, they saw Switchbacks win 3-2, which is what they're getting more and more used to these days. But it was Ikaza and Nadase with those 2 headers from corners, direct from corners.
Good header back there. Cortez lofting, header back across, swatted away by Miller. What a giant paw to stick out and push it away. Valesky the header.
Fantastic save from Colin Miller. The strength to pull that out from behind you is top class. But that's what I've been suggesting. You get those balls in from Monterey Bay. They've got guys up front who are fantastic headers of the ball. If the service is good, they will get something out of it. And you can see there, but for an unbelievable save from Colin Miller, they would have had the equalizer. Could be a contender for save of the week. What do you reckon?
Deservedly so. Malsevich. Sent wide by Coronado. That's Going to go out for a corner. Let's go back to that save by Miller. Here's your Save of the Week nominee.
Look at the ball in from Cortez. Beautiful. Bends away. Valesky gets up, heads it. Oh, it's a full-on stretch. And he's got to come back the other way. The keeper is moving to his left. Now he's got to come back to his right. Puts that paw out. Lots of strength behind that hand to push that ball away from danger. Great save, Colin Miller.
High arcing ball to the backside. As a goalkeeper in those moments, do you feel the tenuous nature, or do you simply feel impenetrable after a save like that?
Oh, every goalkeeper loves making an awesome save, and you know, you hope it wins you the match. You're gutted if you make the save and it actually counts for nothing at the end. But for Colin Miller, that could be a match-winning save at 2-1 up.
Roberts slid back with Lopez in pursuit. It's a handball for Wilmer.
It's a tough one for Valesky, because thinking back to the match against Las Vegas Lights, Romero made us a wonderful save from another Valesky header. So he's come close in both these last two matches. And is yet to get his name on the score sheet. And this is his 5th game, Christian Valesky.
Akwe. Here's Crawford. It's a little too much there from Cortez. Hey, the USL Championship returns to ESPN News. Back-to-back Eastern Conference title holders. The Tampa Bay Rowdies heading west to take on high-powered Phoenix Rising. We'll see the match at 7 p.m. Pacific on ESPN News and the ESPN app.
I'm just wondering if there's many options for Frank Yallop. He hasn't got the most depth, and he was saying they're looking to bring players in if they can get them. They do have Sekou Kone on the bench.
Early ball, sliding effort. And Chase Boone got all of Malisevic. Malisevic is asking how it's not more. I thought a card should have came out for that.
I think Chase Boone risks getting hurt himself in this. He lunges in to get the ball there as he thinks he's going to get target, and he takes the knee in the head, actually, more than anybody else getting in. Just have a look at the big man there. Bang, he gets smacked in the head. But that's the commitment coming in from Monterey Bay. But just talking about Kone, the last goal obviously was scored by Wilmer Martinez against Las Vegas. The one before that was Kone's goal against LA Galaxy 2. So he is a goal scorer, and they might just need to throw him on at some stage, Monterey Bay.
In Liberia, there was a point in time where he was training around George Weah. Wow. Frank Yallop coached him in Vegas.
Is that George Weah the politician or George Weah the soccer player? At which stage of his career?
Yeah, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, I suppose. But 26 years old, I'm going to guess the politician. Lopez, the hold-up play. Lopez could go.
So well, Lopez, to hold the ball up, to turn. Final product clearly not very good. You normally think of a hold-up striker as someone who's big and, you know, muscly, but he holds the ball up as well as any smallest striker I've seen before. He's tenacious, he uses his body so well. He's a real handful, Frank Lopez. It's nice from Robbie Crawford. We haven't seen much of him. He used to be, for me, such a dominating midfield presence when he was at Charleston Battery, and with his history at Rangers Football Club. And the fact that he's not even 30 yet, you would think he'd have a more impact on this game.
He arrived about a month, 3 weeks into the season. Little return ball, excellent sliding effort. Referee's gonna have a look. No, nothing there.
Oh, no penalty?
Wow, that had to be perfect. Apparently it was. Wilmer Cabrera's livid, and Monterey Bay is racing out the other direction. It's gonna soar all the way wide over Cabezas. Floated up toward Boone, and lifted away by Cortez, who leapt highest.
It's probably a good thing that goal didn't go in then from Cortez, because that looked a stone-cold penalty. And again, referee has to call it in real time. We got the chance to see it in slow-mo. Surely that's a penalty.
Ruiz breaking through.
Doesn't get the ball. Gets the man, does Grant Robinson.
And he's on a yellow card.
And he's on a yellow, so it would have been double jeopardy, would have been sent off. But surely there's no way that's not a penalty.
Wow.
Again, bear in mind the referee gets a split second to decide. Maybe someone runs across his vision. Maybe the angle is that he doesn't quite see it. But from our perspective, with the benefit of a replay, that's a definite pen.
Boone trying to hold this up. Cortez can score the special ones. That'll come off of Akwe. Monterey Bay is buzzing right now. Boone right at Miller.
Well, if you're Monterey Bay, you say thank you very much for getting let off the hook, Frank Yallop, and let's take advantage of this. You never look a gift horse in the mouth, as they say. And if you have to go on and win, then let the other team complain about the decisions. You've got to take advantage of it.
Come down to Robinson. Robinson knocked down.
But make no mistake, if RGV lose this match, I've got a feeling that that penalty appeal is going to come back in the press conference afterwards.
It's somewhere right now in the Lone Star State sits the assistant coach, Jerson Echeverry, likely looking at the very same images that we are. He was sent off in the Colorado Springs match. It's going to be well out of the reach of Ricky Ruiz. This is going to send Boone on the run. Get back to Echeverry in a moment. Boone dancing, deflects, cleared by Ikaza. Back upfield by Robinson, skims down to Boone. And full arm around the waist, but Ikaza will clear lines.
Tempers are fraying on both sides at the moment with the referee. Talking of referees, you were telling us about Jerson and how he got his red card.
Apparently left the technical area, and potentially Wilmer Cabrera did too, but Wilmer was so complimentary of Jerson Echeverry, who I think a lot of us announcers got to know during his time as the head coach from 2018 to 2020 at RGV. And always does such an incredible job for that group. Cortez is down.
It might be a head injury, and that's why the referees called a stop to play. Wilmer Cabrera and his coaching staff just debating a few issues while he warms his hands. But it's an important penalty decision not to go your way. And again, not blaming the ref, you've got to make a quick decision. But as a coach, you're looking at that going, if we'd have got that penalty, probably with 3-1 up, and it becomes a much easier game to play. At 2-1, it's a real battle, especially with a big Chris Cortez and Valesky, and there's a bit of a collision there. Takes a knock on the head from Milicevic.
Cortez making his way to the sideline for a moment. His sister Ashley actually played on this field. Was a decent goal scorer too for Cal State Monterey Bay. Long before the renovation. Well, given that, you know, the renovation happened this year. 31 goals at Phoenix, 20 at Orange County. Chris Cortez is one of the league's better scorers historically. And injuries have sapped some of that away the last couple of years. Finished out last year in Miami after stops in Thailand, Denmark, and the Czech Republic.
He was doing some sightseeing by the sounds of it. It's a nice mix of different countries to go and visit as Colin Miller comes out.
Oh, nearly cleared the stadium altogether. Roberts. He's got the goal for Monterey Bay that opened the scoring.
Well, a 2-1 there right in this Monterey Bay. It's not the end of the world. Yes, they would love to have kept their lead, but they can still get the equalizer. They can even get a winner. What they can't afford to do is go 3-1 down. And that was extremely close, and I've no doubt Grant Robinson is a very relieved defender for not having been blamed for the penalty, point one, and for the second yellow, which would have seen him exit the pitch.
From Isidro Martinez. We'll find a little space there. We'll get a second bite of the apple. Set up Lopez. Clever first touch, Kai Green. Toward Boone. Cycled back up right at Lopez. And the offside flag.
Again, you can see Frankie Lopez, how good he is at holding up that ball. For a small man, he's exceptional, and he's put in some work. He's on his own up front, so he can't cover every blade of grass. Well, turf, I should say.
Torres. Martinez. Did that come off of Roberts? And really the question was, could Jay keep it in? He couldn't. Well, RGV's about to make a substitution that they've waited all season to make. That'll come in a moment. Martinez. Got dropped down by Murphy. Speed that burns, but a good step by Malasevich.
Malasevich doing well there, because the counter-attack was just building with Valesky. It had options either side. And good defending by RGV. And here's the big moment then.
That's Eric Pimentel. 82 games, all competitions at Club America. On to Puebla for a handful of years. 27 starts last year for RGV. The Mexican center back makes his season debut this year, replacing Isidro Martinez. In speaking with Wilmer Cabrera, you could tell just how excited he was to get Pimentel back.
Yeah, his last match, if I'm not mistaken, was that playoff game at the end of last season.
Malasevich testing Jay's mental fortitude. It's going to fly by. Second window for RGV, by the way. They do have 3 subs left, but only the one opportunity to make changes.
Important phase of the game now for Monterey Bay, because RGV are looking comfortable on the ball. They've got the lead. It's up to Monterey Bay to get the ball and start putting the pressure on. If you're at home and you've got the home fans behind you and you're losing, of course, you have to have a go, and you're going to have to take some risks at some stage.
All held away from Boone. Boone got whacked along the way. Free kick, Monterey Bay. And wave into the bleachers there.
I think the card came out at that moment.
Looked like it.
Now, this for me is where Monterey Bay need to get every single big man in the box and put RGV under some aerial pressure.
Ricketts just got a yellow card. Free kick, Monterey Bay. Referee's going to bring play back. He showed a yellow. He's reaching for the back pocket. That's going to be his second. They're trying to get a grip on what happened here to Robbie Crawford. He's making his way off.
But he's got a yellow card already, so if whatever he did, if it was a handball, it's a second yellow, and that's probably what's happened here.
That ball from Ikaza, did he stick his arm out?
I think he did. Let's have a look here. As it comes up.
Yeah.
He does, and he purposefully, I think, puts it out. You can't say it was a mistake. His left hand seems to come up. Second yellow. There's not too much argument from the Monterey Bay players. Just when it's at a crucial stage where we're just saying that Monterey Bay have to push forward and take risks, they lose a player, and now it gets even more difficult.
Well, that's a brutal outcome for Robbie Crawford. And down to 10 men the rest of the way, Monterey Bay. If they come back now, it's an early legendary occasion in this franchise's infancy. This time it's James Murphy drawing the referee's attention.
Well, imagine if they did win on this ground, and all of a sudden it does become a fortress. But it's going to be very difficult to do because RGV is still pushing forward. They're still getting this possession.
Early through for Lopez. Brought down by Coronado.
Some teams might take 2-1 with under 20 minutes to go and start defending deep and looking for counter-attacks, but RGV obviously have confidence in their ability. They're still high pressing. They're still boxing in Monterey Bay. Just thinking back to that Robbie Crawford second yellow, if he did do that on purpose, and it looked like he did bring out his left hand to try and block the ball. When you're already on a yellow, again, it's a moment I'm sure he'll regret, because coach will, and we were saying it earlier in the match, when you're on yellows, now you've got to be careful. The moment you're on a yellow, your whole game plan, your football management changes, because you know you can't afford to do anything silly. It's something you've got to be constantly aware of, which is why I'm sure most coaches tell their players, don't get the first yellow unless it's absolutely necessary.
Ball floated, Cortez, goalkeeper came out. Can you believe this?
Cortez beats the goalkeeper and heads it in, and then he kicks to the sideboard as if he's angry with something. So
did that get off the outside of the netting? Because I think that's off the outside of the netting.
Well, Colin Miller will be a very relieved man if it is, because he came chasing that ball and didn't get it.
Oh, wow.
And the goal was empty and it went over the back.
Yeah.
Yep. Look at the goalkeeper there. He's not getting to that at all. He wasn't even close. He had defenders covering him on the line, and you could see Akwe jumping up and down as if to say to the keeper, don't take those risks. Not unless you're absolutely sure you can get the ball.
Well, the lights flicker and they announce the goal, and Cortez is standing there looking befuddled.
Yeah, he's just kicking the board for not having scored.
Right. I asked if you could believe this. It's because I couldn't quite believe that, and there was a reason for that. Onward anyway.
But it was a risk from Colin Miller, and I think Cortez was angry with himself because all he had to do was keep the ball down and it goes in the back of the net. But that's easier said than done when a goalkeeper's flying at you with 2 fists. You do tend to take your eye off the ball for a split second at least.
By the way, this is the 4th time this year that Monterey Bay has played down a man. Fair against Colorado Springs on the road. Crawford just shy of halftime against El Paso, and Roberts against Galaxy 2. And in that time, Monterey Bay has conceded 4 goals, 3 in the thrashing at El Paso and 1 against Galaxy 2, which was the insurance goal by Preston Judd.
You can't afford to do that in any team, and I'm sure Frank Yallop would be the first to tell his players, we need everybody on the pitch. We need you to be intelligent on the ball. We need you to think carefully, not get yourself into trouble. It's a game that involves a lot of football intelligence, and having 4 sendings off already in the season shows that players are maybe not managing the game the way they should be.
In 9 games. All right, the changes are coming. This is the final window, so it's going to be the full allotment of 3 that remain. You mentioned earlier Siku Kone could be the difference maker.
As you say, it's the last throw of the dice for Frank Yallop here. He's got nothing to lose. He may as well throw them on. They're fresh legs, fresh minds. They're eager. They've got the energy. And we'll see what they can do.
Bolar comes in. That's Valesky off. Cortez coming off as well. And Walmer Martinez comes off. He's on a yellow card.
All the strikers, they've been working hard, they've been running around, but they're not getting much joy. And you can see it's RGV who seem to be quite comfortable, and they're attacking, so something's got to turn this tide in favor of Monterey Bay.
Moby Fair came in as well. Injured player down for RGV. It's Jonathan Ricketts, it appears. Kone has gone to give him a tap there. And that athletic trainer has been quite busy.
And I've no doubt that RGV will do whatever they can to slow this game down. I'm not saying the player isn't injured, I'm just saying that in general, I'm sure they're going to bring some professionalism to the game, whether you like it or not. Teams, when they're ahead, will slow it down, will do what they have to take the sting out of the match. I've no doubt RGV can do it as well as any team in the USL.
See, the Toros are preparing to make their final adjustments. So Ricketts remains down. And it's been a night with Crawford being sent off, where the official is had to reach for cards early and eventually often. That's the initial yellow card from Crawford.
I think at the time we said you've got to be careful putting your studs up that high. And, you know, we know he's enthusiastic, but from that moment onwards, you say, okay, from now on, I'll play differently. I can't afford to do anything. If it looked like he did put his arm out, it wasn't a natural swing. It felt like he had tried to block it, and that's why there isn't much argument coming from the Monterey Bay players. If he didn't mean to do it, then it's very unlucky. But the fact that he's already been sent off this season, and there's a few more you mentioned, just overall makes you question the mentality of the players and how they think when they're under pressure and chasing the game. Former Cabrera, happy to see his players up and about, so he's just making a change to who he brings on and who he doesn't.
Got 4 light stanchions and a nearly full moon tonight, looking down on this match.
Got some good players they can bring on there, including Borchek, but firstly, good to see Jonathan Ricketts is okay.
Ackway. Hopefully it's nothing too serious for Ricketts. A lengthy stoppage. No time like the present here for Monterey Bay.
Good football again from RGV, and if you think back to the goals they scored, they were both extremely well taken goals. Emilio Icaza's side foot shot nearly saved, tipped onto the post but goes in, and Coronado's 1-2 through into the 6-yard box, chipping the goalkeeper. 2 fantastic moments of quality football.
Shade off of Lopez. You can see 2 RGV players are getting final instructions. And there can't be a worse feeling. And Mueller, he was ready to come in. He had the card in his hand, and I believe this is the final window to make subs for RGV, and he just got told to put a penny on. You can see him at the bottom of your screen there. For RGV, they are still going to bring on Dylan Borzak, and Mueller will have to wait for another day. That's the end of the night for Icaza, who's probably going to need a nice warm blanket to go with those gloves.
Yeah, he gets a hug from his manager because his is the winning goal at this moment in time. What a well taken, well, it's not the winning goal, sorry, it was the first goal, but a crucial one. Got his team back in the match.
It's in the 42nd minute, 4 minutes later. Robert Coronado and Frank Yallop's side reduced to 10 in the 71st after scoring the opening goal tonight way back in the 19th.
That cross into the box is not quality enough. You've got the big man in the middle just waiting for something to come in. Sekou Kone. If you don't give big guys service, it's hard enough to score anyway, but their height makes a difference only if the ball in is a decent ball for them to attack.
Ruiz did well to sneak that through, and Lopez was coming off the edge. Roberts, important intervention. Outside from Murphy. of a delayed gallop here, kept in on the line. It is with Monterey Bay. Akwe's going to touch away from Kone. Slid in and cleaned out the player.
He's done well, Akwe. He's won a lot of headers in that box. He's been quick at the back, and he's won his team a free kick. And if they do get this win, RGV, they've got a couple of tough matches coming up that Vilma Cabrera will be looking forward to, but they're not going to be easy. San Diego at home and San Antonio at home. And they've got dodgy home form, just 2 wins and 3 losses. So I think those 3 points will just give them a little bit of something to play with going into those huge games.
And traditionally, Edinburgh, Texas is one of the most difficult places, maybe not always to get a win, as much as it seems like so many draws, so many points get dropped there, or RGV can run you off the pitch. Header back, that's grabbed by Jay.
Frank Lopez still running, still putting pressure on. Amazing little player up front.
And you mentioned it right before halftime. We wondered whether or not he was going to be playing another 45 at all. Lopez, that's an epic switch from Torres. Lopez, still no finishing blow from RGV.
What they are doing is they're restricting the opportunities for Monterey Bay, and there's another example of the pressure they put on, possession lost. And they'll just play it around. Said from the beginning, good footballing side. They can play at the back, they play in the middle. Frank Lopez holds it up front, and they can produce quality for the goals they scored. So all in all, you wonder why they're struggling so much near the foot of the Western Conference, and they've had some difficult matches to play. With their recent games have been away at Colorado Springs Switchbacks, good luck. Home to Orange County, the champions. Home to Sac Republic, where they got a win. That wasn't easy. Houston in the Open Cup, so none of those are easy games.
That one had a little extra juice in it. Kone just won a free kick, trying to hold up play.
Route 1, get it in the box, but that's what you got to do at the moment. There wasn't much of a hand there by Akwe, but enough for Kone to go to ground and win the free kick.
Really intriguing that Kone is the one who's lining up to take it. 6'2" and powerful physical presence. Yet he's going to be the one here from maybe 35 yards, 30. Think he has a go here at Miller?
Well, you would think so. I mean, otherwise he'd be in the middle waiting for the header. So maybe he's the only one big enough and powerful enough to score from that distance.
Siku Kone went for goal, went right at Miller.
Yeah, it has to be an incredible strike to score from 35 yards. And you, again, because of all the height, you think it would have been better if it had been in the box with the other big guys and try and get on the end of a cross.
And perhaps not insignificantly, the player you probably want on that set piece was sent off in the 71st minute.
Yeah, Crawford would always deliver a good ball in, but they've got other players who can do something similar.
Boone. Ruiz. Wasn't quite able to get it out of that boondoggle.
Not getting desperate now. It has to be just big balls into the box for Monterey.
No goals in this half, but sending off, a handful of cards, a couple injuries. There could be a lot of time added on here. Kone.
Yeah, we had goals in the first half, 3 of them. As you say, lots of issues in the second half, including a red and a few missed opportunities and a what looked like a certain penalty not given for RGV.
Robinson tried to lump that forward. Coronado, beneficiary of it. RGV with a win here moves right up snug to the playoff line. They're not above it, but a giant step forward if they can see this out.
Again, given some of those matches coming up, San Diego at home and San Antonio at home, they need these points desperately, because if they can get 6 points from the next 2 home matches, that would be an incredible return against those 2 teams.
Donner is able to keep it. Now he's streaking up the line from Murphy into stoppage time. Free kick, Monterey Bay. Five added minutes.
Odds are almost certain this ball goes into the box from James Murphy. I don't think there's any option. You've got Chase Boone, you've got Sekou Kone. You just aim for their head and let's wait and see what happens.
Former RGV player, Murphy.
Oh.
Little flick on header and it'll skim away.
I thought it was Hugh Roberts who got a touch at the near post, but they might still have a corner here. Monterey Bay, and a yellow card for chirping the referee.
Referee just gestured at Juan David Cabezas. Appears he's the one who got the yellow. This corner, not much there for Kai Green.
Coronado with the winning goal at this stage, and again, for a defender to come forward and play a 1-2 on the edge of the box and then calmly chip the goalkeeper. That was a very impressive bit of play from the number 21 for RGV. And Wilmer Cabrera's got to be super happy with his team and what they've managed to do, going 1-0 down, coming back to be in a 2-1 situation with just a couple of minutes left. There he is again, Frankie Lopez. He's battling away. Does not stop.
It almost feels like he's at his most dangerous in moments like this. Up a goal, allow him to roam free.
I think the bigger the defender is, the more he wants to get stuck in.
True enough.
What did we say the description was? The bulldog.
Strong bulldog.
Yeah, well, another yellow card coming out here. There'll be no rush to get up from RGV there. Take their time, slow it all down. Jonathan Ricketts, he's been in the wars in this match. He's been down a few times.
Kind of interesting. He's been getting chirped by the fans here quite a bit.
I think fans are never quite sure what is a real injury and what is just, you know, time wasting, etc. And if not time wasting because the referee adds time, just slowing the game down, killing the crowd. Sometimes it's genuine, sometimes it's not, and it's very difficult to know which is which.
Lopez can end it. Not yet. 100 ticks to go at least.
He's not too far away, Frankie Lopez. No wonder he scored 4 goals already this season. He keeps shooting. When he does, he's never too far away.
And here he comes again. Lopez. Is this one where you take it to the corner flag? No, RGV wants to put the final nail in. Rolls all the way through. Ruiz. The cutback for Lopez. Wasn't the only one running through the middle of the area there. And Just how much is RGV going to rue that they didn't take a little more time off? They weren't quite able to get that insurance. Could Monterey, for the first time, get stuck with a home loss?
It's a tough one for the fans to take if they do, but they're up against quality opposition, and having players sent off doesn't help your cause.
Boone trying to keep that in the corner. Ball still in play. May well be a matter of seconds from here. Early ball across from Robinson. And there's Colin Miller.
Taken by the goalkeeper just when you need him to come pluck the one out there and calm everything down. That's exactly what Colin Miller does. He's made some good saves here today. He's been solid. Just that one error when he came out for the punch and Chris Cortez beat him to the ball, but he was lucky he got away with that. Other than that, he's been absolutely top class, Colin Miller.
Well, sometimes you can tell a referee by how much time he leaves. Card comes out to Lopez.
Lopez is arguing about the added time and not about the fact he got a yellow card. All getting a bit chippy here at the end.
Murphy with his former teammates.
Yeah. Lopez brings him down. There's no question that he's slowing the game down there. Like I said, RGV very professional when it comes to seeing out games, whether you like it or not. It does the job.
Well, could this be the end of the line? Dallas J brought down Kone, good target. Floated forward, Robinson. It's gonna get over Roberts. And that is full time. And RGV goes on the road and picks up a massive 3 points. Coronado, a tremendously taken goal in first half stoppage time. And Monterey Bay, for the first time at Cardinale Stadium, fall. And it's excruciatingly so.
Yeah, tough one for the home side, but in the end, the goals taken by RGV were such good goals. Coronado, top class there, and so too Ikaza. And they saw the game out professionally, RGV. It didn't help that Monterey Bay were down to 10 men by the end of the game. And Colin Miller did bring out one incredible save from a Valesky header. Top class from the keeper there. But just another reminder for Monterey Bay that this is a building season, it's a setting up season, and they're going to struggle to get the results they want. But as long as they keep progressing and learning, that's what Frank Yallop will want from these players.
Well, the fans get quite the show tonight, but not the result they were looking for. And notably, Robbie Crawford will be suspended for the red card for the match at Louisville coming up next weekend. Monterey Bay will get back here for Colorado Springs the following week, the 28th. We'll wrap this one up when we return. RGV wins it 2-1.
Coastal Roots Hospitality is a proud partner of the Monterey Bay Football Club. Coastal Roots Events and Catering, along with its 3 iconic restaurants, Monterey, Tarpe's, and Rio Grill, invite you to pick it up and pay it forward, where 10% of all proceeds from takeout orders are donated to various local charities. Their catering service and restaurants utilize local farms, butcheries, and ocean fresh sustainability-driven seafood to deliver unique and exemplary dining experiences. For more information, visit coastalrootshospitality.com.
Well, there comes a point where you give everything you can, and you've spent every morsel of energy, and still the fans go home disappointed. RGV, a 2-1 victory over Monterey Bay tonight. And the home fans will get back here in 2 weeks' time when one of the best in the West, Colorado Springs, pays a visit. Mike Watts, Gary Bailey, let's wrap this one up for you. Opening goal, 19th minute. Everything's good in that moment for Monterey Bay.
Yeah, Hugh Roberts gets up under all sorts of pressure. Great header, just gets in the corner and beats Colin Miller. And you're thinking, well, this is going to be a good day for Monterey Bay, possibly. There's the first yellow from Robbie Crawford. Foot up, dangerous. Risky to do that in the first place. And then from that moment onwards, you're thinking, whatever I do, I mustn't get a second yellow. And then just before half-time, Frankie Lopez drawing all the defenders in here, and it comes out to Ikaza. And yeah, gets a little lucky bounce here, but he picks his spot brilliantly. Keeper onto the post, and agonizingly it trickles over the line.
And you wonder whether or not Carlos Herrera picks up a little bit of a knock here. Skip ahead 4 minutes later. 2 important points here. First, great goal, Robert Coronado. Second, afterward, you'll see the fingers go up from the referee, or from the goalkeeper, rather. He needs a sub.
Got to keep an eye on the goalkeeper there. There he goes. There's the fingers. He's hurt himself, but Coronado, what a lovely 1-2. And there's a couple of defenders who let him go. Murphy's one of them. Martinez is the other. They've got to do a job, and they don't. But credit Coronado and credit the finish as well.
And Dallas J would come in, see the rest of this game out. End of the 53rd minute. This is save of the week stuff.
Oh, absolutely brilliant, because he's going one way. He's got to change direction, come back and use the power of his arms to keep the ball out. Great header from Valesky. He's got to be thinking that's going to hit the back of the net.
And ahead to the 71st minute, and this is the second yellow. It's that arm extended from Crawford.
And it looks like he did it on purpose. Hard to be sure about that, but as far as the referee's concerned, he's extended the arm, and second yellow, and then it's a mountain to climb. A goal behind, a player down, a couple of high balls in the box, and this one, the only mistake Colin Miller made, came for that ball, didn't get it, didn't really need to come, and Chris Cortez is angry with himself. Empty net, and he puts it over the crossbar.
Well, it makes the lights flash, but it's no goal. And here are the full-time stats, Gary. A chance for your final thoughts on this one as RGV get a big, big, big win on the road.
Yeah, they just had the quality in the right moments, RGV. If you have a look at the expected goals, it's actually in favor of Monterey Bay. They had more shots on target as well. But the quality when Coronado got it, when Ikaza got it, they were able to create chances around the box and score the goals eventually for the Union, Monterey Bay FC Union. There was more high balls in the box, but not enough skill around the edge of the box. In the end, RGV just perhaps a little bit too good for Monterey Bay on the day.
Well, more memories made from Frank Yallop's side. It doesn't end the way they hope, but in a stretch of 7 of 9 at home before the 4th of July, fans starting to figure out what you get when you come out to Cardinelli Stadium. For our entire Vista NEP crew, led by producer Mackenzie Pierce, director Jonathan Tellicher, Miguel Manella, Austin Armelini, and Gary Bailey alongside. Mike Watts saying, thanks for watching. Coronado, a great game winner. And Ikaza scores a brilliant goal as well. RGV wins it 2-1. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.